So today we are going to be covering off the SuiteFiles document signing functionality. So just before we begin, I'll introduce myself. My name is Roshni and I'm part of the customer team here at SuiteFiles. So today I'll step you through all of the functionality that we have available through the SuiteFiles web app that will help you to sign documents yourself and save them back to SuiteFiles, and also send those documents out to your clients for signing too. So we'll jump straight into it. Hopefully you can all see my screen here. So what we're going to cover off first of all is the document preparation. So with SuiteFiles document signing, you can start off with either a Word document, say in docx format, or if you have a PDF in SuiteFiles, you'll also be able to access the document signing functionality from there. So what I'll do is I'll start off with a document. I'm going to create a file from a template, and then we'll step through the process of converting that Word document into a PDF ready for signing with SuiteFiles. So what I recommend if you are going to be using a file template, or even if you've dragged and dropped or added a Word document into your client's folder in SuiteFiles. Here I am in their year-end letters folder. I've created that for my client 99 Corporation. It's best to just start the process off where you ultimately want that document to be stored. So you're probably doing this anyway, just for your standard letters, but this is really important because you'll get the copy of the signed file back into this same location. So if you're starting the process from here, then you can expect the signed copy of the file to also end up in this folder as well. So that's one of the beauties of SuiteFiles document signing, is that you don't have to go trawling through your inbox for signed copies of the files and filing them across to SuiteFiles. This will happen automatically for you. So I'll start by creating a new document, and I'm going to select a file template. So I'll look that up. And because I've started that whole process from within the 99 Corporation folder, and because I have my SuiteFiles site connected to Xero Practice Manager, it's pulling through and automatically assigning 99 Corporation to this particular document. So all that I really need to do is click Create on this, or I can click Enter Field Values just to make any last minute edits that I need to for this particular doc. And if you're not familiar with SuiteFiles file templates, then I'd recommend that you check out our webinar on this. We have an advanced training session that covers this off in detail, available on our Help Centre. We'll be jumping into the Help Centre a little bit later on, so I will show you where you can find that. For this particular template, I know that the account manager is the person at our end that requires signing off of the document on our behalf. So I'm just going to change that from Andrew to myself so that I can sign this one today. And maybe I know that Bert has recently left, so I'm just going to update the primary contact salutation from Bert to Mitzi. And then we're going to click Create. And that will take all of my edits and all of that information through from Xero Practice Manager and create my letter for me. Now, what you might want to do if you've already got existing file templates, you may want to amend them so that, like my document, you have some signing spots for you to then place the SuiteFiles document signing fields onto. So this shows you roughly how much space to leave for the SuiteFiles signing fields. It's roughly about 2 to 3 lines on a standard document. This here is where I'm going to sign the file off, and then I'm also going to ask my client to put their signature here, put their name down, as well as the date that they signed the file. So that's all going to happen as we step through the process. Now, if you've got this Word document ready to go, then you can click on the Request Signature button here, just noting that if you're currently having your documents. So when you click on a document right now, if they're automatically opening up in the desktop Word, then you won't be able to click the request signature button. The request signature button in a Word document is only going to be available to you if you're seeing this preview. So just to sort of explain how that particular setting works, if we jump back to this year-end letters folder, you can see I've got my file here now that I've created it. For some of you, you might be clicking on the file to open it and it's going to automatically open in Microsoft Word. And that's just due to a file preference setting that you will have set up. So if you click on your username in the top right corner and click User Profile Settings, and then set File Preferences, you'll see this open Office files in browser. For me, it's set to yes, and so that just means that I'm going to see a preview of a file, and then I get to choose if I'm going to open in Office or edit in the browser. Whereas others who have their files automatically opening up in Microsoft Word, then you'll have this particular setting set to no. So if you've got that set to no, it just means you will need to PDF your document in another way. Just note that you can do a file, save a copy. If you've got your document open up in Microsoft Word in the desktop, you could save a copy, select PDF as the file type, and that will save a PDF version of that Word document straight back into this folder. So that's something else to consider, just depending on what setting you have. But if, like me, you open up your documents like this, you'll see the request signature button. Click that once, and all this is doing for me is converting the document into a PDF ready for me to sign. So this copy of the PDF file is going to be stored back in that year-end letters folder. So you can see I've now got the PDF copy there. And this is a blank PDF ready for me to now apply my document signing fields to. So for any PDF that you have stored in SuiteFiles, you'll be able to see this document signing drop-down. So what you have here are 3 different options depending on who you need to sign the document for you. So the sign and save option is just for if you yourself want to sign the document and have a copy of that saved back to SuiteFiles. The quick sign option will allow you to look up your contact details from Xero Practice Manager or Workflow Max. So if you have integrated your SuiteFiles account with Xero Practice Manager, for example, and you've got all of your contacts stored in Xero Practice Manager for your clients, then you'll be able to look those people up, and it saves you having to manually type out their email address when you want them to sign something. So that's one option that you can use. You've also got the advanced sign option. So this is going to allow you to set up a signature request by entering anyone's contact details in manually. So I'll just show you that process here quickly. So the advanced sign will just allow you to type in whoever's name and email address. One thing to note about the mobile phone number field, you can leave that blank for now. The reason being is that the mobile phone number field would be typically used for us to send an SMS verification code to your signer if you have that setting enabled, but that SMS verification functionality isn't available just right now. So we did have that, but we've had to pull that back. We're making some changes to it, and we'll be sure to let everyone know once we have relaunched that functionality. So right now, just note that you can leave the mobile phone number field blank. You've got an add signer field, so you can have more than one person sign a file for you. They'll each receive their own copy via email, which they can go through and sign off onto the same document. So you'll have, once everyone's signed the document, you'll get a signed copy with everyone's signatures returned. You also, for this advanced sign option, have the ability to add a CC recipient's email address. So this person won't necessarily be signing the document, but you might want them to have a copy of the signed file once everyone's gone through the signing process. So that's the only place that you can add that is to the advanced sign option. You can also remove users if you don't need to. But what I'm going to show you is the quick sign option. So this is another way that you can add people to the signing document, and that's just by looking up their details from, in my case, it will be Xero Practice Manager. So if I just start typing out my client's name, I should be able to find them from this drop down nice and easily. Now, if you are integrated with Xero Practice Manager, you'll find that any contact that you have stored in XPM will come through with this little Workflow Max label. So under the hood or behind the scenes, Workflow Max and Xero Practice Manager are one and the same. So that's why that logo is coming through, even though if you haven't even heard of Workflow Max before. And then this particular entry here, this would have just been me adding that user manually to my system. So for things like Connect, SuiteFiles Connect, you can add users manually and they get stored into SuiteFiles. But I'm just going to, in this case, pick up the contact that I can see is coming through from XPM. And once I see them added, and I'll see this little blue tick which indicates to me that yes, we've been able to find their email address, so we know that their details are all stored in XPM, and we're going to be using the email address against that record, and we're going to be sending this document out to that individual via that email address. Now, one of the things to note around where we're actually fetching this information from, for those of you that are using Xero Practice Manager, the Xero Practice Manager has a couple of different areas where you can enter in contact details. So where we're getting them from is through the contacts area. So this is kind of like a contact card, if you will. I know that if you have individuals, there's another area where you can just generally put the key contact person's information. But if you do have an individual, just make sure that you're also adding them as a contact to that record in XPM. So creating a contact card for them, so that way we'll be able to fetch their email address details for you using this quick sign option. So if you're ever not seeing a particular user in this drop down here, there is also a refresh button. So if you are starting the process, if we start that process again, you can see there's this refresh contacts button. So you can click that if you've just been updating some details in XPM to make sure that they come through to this form when you're looking them up, and then just click that button and that will feed all of the latest data through to us at SuiteFiles. So I'm just going to click that, and you can also add additional recipients at this point. They will only be people that are stored in your Xero Practice Manager. You can remove people if you like. I'm just going to keep today's session nice and simple by just showing you one client. And then once you click select recipients, then you'll find these items on the left-hand side. So these are your signature fields. And from the drop down here, you'll see both yourself as well as your client. So if you've added more than one client, then their names will be available from this drop down as well. So the idea with this is that if you yourself need to sign off that document before your client, then you can place your own signature fields onto the doc. So I'm just going to click the field that I want to place on my document, and then click the document once, and then that will pull through or bring through my signature. So the very first time you use SuiteFiles Document Signing, unless you've already gone and customized your signature, it will show your signature as a script font. I'll show you towards the end how you can customize your own signature so that it's your own rather than a script font. You can also pick up the signature field if you need to adjust it slightly. You can also edit the information by clicking the edit option. So if I wanted it to be sort of more similar to how I sign off documents, I can just change that on the fly there. And then you've also got, as As the signer, at your end, you've also got the ability to add your initials to the document. So that's again just a case of clicking and placing the field onto the document. You can delete ones that you don't need. You've also got a text field, so that's just going to give you the option to edit this. That is going to be permanently on the document, so it will form part of the final signed doc. You've got a date field if you needed to place the date, today's date, onto the document. You've got that option. There is a checkbox here, so it's literally just a tick. This is something that we're going to be working on and improving so that your customer would also have the option to add a tick. Right now, it's only available for you, so we'll fix that up. So if you do have things that you need to check off, then you can add a little tick onto your documents. And then finally, we have this note field. So if I just place this on the document here and edit, treat this note field like you would a sticky note. So this is like a virtual sticky note. Um, so this note is going to appear on the document while everyone's going through the signing process. So Mitzi will see the note, but when the final document comes through as signed, this note will disappear. So we'll just pop that there. And I know it's exceptionally green at the moment, but you'll see at the client's end, it looks a lot nicer. So I'll show you what your client sees as well in a moment. So those are your fields that you can place. Now, when you want to fill in details here for your client, just select them from the drop down. And for example, I need their signature, name, and date signed. So again, I would just click on the field once, place it on the document, and you'll see this crosshair here. This indicates where the top left corner of the field is going to be placed. So you'll get a feel for where you should be placing your cursor in relation to the field size and height. It might take a little bit of getting used to, but definitely have a bit of a go. If you place it wrong, of course, you can just pick it up and drag and drop it with your mouse. And I'll pop the date signed here. So if I'm relatively happy with those field placements, but I want them to just snap into place, I want them to all be aligned, I can select those fields. So when they're all outlined in orange, that means that they're selected. I can also just drag my mouse over them to select multiple fields. And once I've done that, you'll see this little menu at the top. So in this case, if I want them to all snap into line and just be stacked on top of each other, I would choose vertical alignment, and that will just snap them into place. So that's nice and tidy. You've also got horizontal alignment if you were placing fields from left to right across a doc. So once you're happy with the fields and placement of everything, then you're ready to click Save and Send in the top right corner. And here you can customize the message that goes through to your client. And we set in a default expiry date of 30 days. So this client will have 30 days from today to sign and complete the document before it expires. However, if it gets to the 31st day and they still haven't done it, you'll have the option in the doc management area to extend the expiry for another 30 days. So I'll show you all of that once we've sent this on its way. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have SMS verification at the moment, but we will be letting everyone know as soon as we've got an option available for that, hopefully soon. So at this point, when you hit save, that is going to send this entire document across to your client, and they'll receive a link in their inbox to go through to the document and sign it for you. So hitting save is going to process everything, send off the relevant email notifications, and it will just let you know once that's been done. So you can now click OK. And what I'll show you next is where you can go into sort of the back end and check where everything's at. So if you're an administrator of your SuiteFiles site, then you'll be able to see and track everyone's documents that are out for signing. If you're a standard user, so not an admin, then you'll only be able to see your own documents that are out for signing. So to access this, you'll click on the More drop down here, select Document Signing, and this by default will show you everything that is out. So you can see here that the file that I just created is now out in progress. I can hover over the in progress and see who it's with. So if you have multiple people that you have added to sign the document and one has signed and one has not, then you'll be able to hover over this and see who's signed and who's yet to sign. The other thing is that you can use the filters on the left-hand side. So if you're just wanting to drill down to any of the files that you have in progress, so you can see here that we've got a few that should be cleared, but we have this one at the top here that we've just sent, but I've got one from last week sometime that I might need to send a reminder for. So what I can do is I can click on the three dots, and I've got options here to resend the invite emails, so that'll act as a little reminder for them, as well as I've got the option if it has expired already, which I can look at from the expired filter. If anything's expired, then I can click on the three dots here and extend the expiry. For completed documents, and as you'll see, once this client has gone through and signed the file for me, we'll be able to click on the three dots here, and we can't resend invites, and we cannot extend expiries because the file has been completed. However, we can view the history of the document and click on the history tab, and that will show you every step of the process when they viewed and then ultimately signed the document for you. The other thing that you can do if you're an admin or if your administrator has given you permissions to help with managing your custom branding for document signing, you can click on the custom branding area, and you will be able to choose what branding your client sees for the background of the banner at the top of the screen. So this is when they're going to go and sign the document. So the banner and the button can be customized, as well as the email that your clients will see. So that will get sent out to your clients whenever you have something for them to sign. You can also upload your logo. So if you don't, it's going to just include the SuiteFiles default logo. If you are going to upload your logo, which most people are doing, you will need to select a PNG image file type, and we recommend that has a transparent background. So if you choose something like a dark blue, like we've done for our little test client here, you will be able to, it will just blend in quite nicely with that background. So transparent background images will ensure that the banner isn't interrupted with a big chunky white logo. So have a go at that. Hopefully you have a PNG image file handy of your logo. And if you're wanting to change the primary or secondary color for the banner or the buttons, then you can either enter in the hex code into this field here, or you can click on the little color icon and choose from this little picker here. So that's changed recently. So that's new for me. So that's exciting. It looks a lot easier. So you can enter in the RGB colors. Most likely is how you're going to use that one from the options here. Now, one thing to note about these primary and secondary colors, I'd recommend that you do not choose white for either of them. So a white background is going to really get lost in amongst the email and the website. So I would definitely choose a background color, not just white, if you can, particularly for the secondary color. That's because, for example, our continue button is white text on a white, and if it's on a white background, then your clients won't even see it. So that is something we're going to get fixed up, but just for now, I like to warn people not to choose white, just so they don't come across any issues, and that your clients know and can clearly see the next stage of each of the steps of the process. Once you've customized all of your branding, then you can click on Save Custom Branding, and then that branding will apply from this point forward to any documents that you send out. If you're an administrator, then you'll also have this filtering option, and this will impact on which documents you see here. So you can switch this to all to yes, which will show you everyone's documents that are out for signing. So that should be something that will load shortly. But we'll leave that there. If anyone does have any questions on how to manage the documents that you've got out for signing, then please do let me know. What I'll do next is we'll switch gears and we'll jump into our client's inbox, and we'll see what they see when they receive a document ready for signing. So you can see here that I've just logged into Mitzi's Gmail account. You can see that they've received a new email. Now, one of the bits of feedback that we get from a lot of people is around the email address that the document signing emails are sent from. Now, right now, there's nothing that we can do about that. It does come from a no reply email address. So if you do find that your clients aren't receiving the emails, very first of all, do contact them to make sure that those emails have not found their way into their junk folder. I think it just really depends on how your clients have their inbox set up as to whether or not they will see these emails come through straight away. We're hoping that with custom branding, rather than just showing the SuiteFiles logo on the email, that will help them to recognize that that's from you. However, it might be worth letting your customers know ahead of time that you're going to be using SuiteFiles Document Signing, so that they can expect emails to come through from no reply at thefullsuite.com. Maybe you can suggest to them to add that email address to their safe list or their address book. So it's just a little tip there based on some of the feedback that we've received from people that are currently using the document signing functionality. So once they open this up, they'll be able to see that, they'll be able to see that you and your company name. They'll be able to see the message that you added to the outgoing document, as well as the file name and the option to review the document. So that link is going to take them out to a special document signing interface. So it's going to be the one that has your branding on it. And that will just outline again the little message that you entered. It will also include the expiry date. So they just need to click on the accept and continue button, and then they'll be able to go through and sign the file. So we've got the scroll to next option here, and you can see here that it's really easy for them to just place their signature fields, name and date, and once I've completed all of the fields that they need to, then they'll be able to click the sign document option. Now you'll remember that I added a little note, so that virtual sticky note has come through like this, so that the client can read it, but it's not going to form part of that final signed document. So that's what it looks like at their end. And the other thing that you can see is that my client has customized their signature. So it's not a script font. This is actually them having written out their signature. So we've got the ability to customize an email a SuiteFiles document signing signature. And once you've customized your signature, every time you sign a file using SuiteFiles document signing, we'll remember that custom signature and pull that through for you. So by default, the very first time your client uses this, it will come through as a script font, just like mine did up here. But they can go in and customize their signature by clicking on the Customize My Signature button. And we've got a couple of options here. So if we go through the process, first of all, they'll be presented with this screen. And if they have a touchscreen computer, so maybe something like a Microsoft Surface Pro, then they might be able to just scribble on their screen and save their custom signature. They can also give that a go with their mouse, but it's you have to be pretty pretty precise with that. So if I'm not happy with that, I might opt to either just system generate, so that will just default back to a script font, or I can choose to use the mobile setup. And what this will do is for anyone with a smartphone, they will be able to click mobile setup, open the camera app on their phone, which I'm doing right now, and then just point their camera to the code, click on the resulting link, and that will take them to a screen similar to what we saw before. So they'll be able to scribble on their cell phone. They'll be able to write their signature. So I will just try and draw, let's see, signature nicely this time. I'm not doing a terribly great job, so just bear with me. If you have a stylus, then I would definitely recommend using that. Then click Save Signature, which will save the signature. You just need to click Complete, and then you can see my beautiful artwork has now replaced that system generated option. So that's how your client can customize their signature. You can do the same in SuiteFiles. I'll show you where shortly, but just know that your clients can do this as well. And we'll remember that and apply that to any documents that they sign with you from this day forward. So once they are happy with all of that, they can click on Sign Document. They can also decline the document as well. So if they're not happy with it for whatever reason, they can click Decline and type in a reason and decline the document there. But she's pretty happy with it, so she's going to sign that off. That will just process everything, and it will give her a little prompt just letting her know that that's all being done and that a signed copy of the document will be sent to everyone once it's all been completed. So we can close that tab now, and as a sender of the document, so me as a SuiteFiles user, I can actually track what's happening with that document in my inbox as well. So here you can see I've received 3 notifications for this particular file. So we've got the initial email saying that someone has opened and viewed the document. I've got a notification that the document has been signed by my client. And I've also got this final signed copy saying that everyone has now reviewed and completed the process. And I've got a copy of the signed PDF as an attachment. If we jump back into my client's inbox, you can see that they've got the same email. So they've received that final copy of the signed document. So they can preview that. And what you can see at the bottom, in the bottom left corner of the last page of the document, is the SuiteFiles digital signing stamp. So that confirms that it's been digitally signed, and by whom, via their IP address as well as the date. So that's all recorded against that document. So if we jump back into SuiteFiles And if we just go into the completed view now, I might just refresh this. So if we go into my clients folder, and we go into my year end letter folder, you can see here that I now have the original Word document, the PDF, which was the sort of the starting point of the whole process, and then the final signed copy that will arrive back in that original folder, and it will just be appended with underscore signed. So you can see here it's exactly the same file that we saw attached to that email that we received. It just so happens that this one's stored in SuiteFiles for you automatically. If we jump back into the document signing screen, we can see that that's now been completed. You can do things like, again, view the history of that file. So you can see here when it was created by me and when it was viewed and ultimately signed by the client. I can also do things like archive the file. That's just going to remove that file from this view. It's not going to archive the file where it's stored in SuiteFiles. It's just to help you tidy up this list. It can get quite long. You can also do things like view the signed file. That will open up the document for you in a new tab, and you can see exactly the same thing. So you've got lots of ways to manage your signed documents, and that's all happening from within this document signing management screen. Finally, if we jump into our file preferences, I'll show you how you can also customize your own signature. So if you click on your username in the top right corner of SuiteFiles, select user profile settings, file preferences, signatures. And you can see here that right now I'm just using the generated script font. If I click edit, we've got exactly the same process as what I showed you with your client's version. So you can do things like just use the generated signature. You can do a mobile setup as well, which will allow you to set that up through your cell phone. So let me know if you have any questions on that or anything else that I've shown you today. I will send out the recording to you all so you've got that to look back on if you do have any questions. The other thing that we do have is our Help Center, of course. So if you click on your name in SuiteFiles and then click on Help Center, then that will take you through to help.suitefiles.com. We have an entire section dedicated to SuiteFiles document signing. So start off with the overview. That has a range of information, including a little video to step you through the process, but this will link you out to a whole bunch of resources that are available to you. So do let me know if you do have any questions. I will leave it there for today, but I really appreciate you guys coming along. If you do have any other questions after the session and you can't quite find what you need on the Help Centre, then don't hesitate to reach out to us. Best to reach out to our support team. So the email address there is support@suitefiles.com. They'll be best placed to help you out and point you in the right direction if you've got any questions at all. Thanks so much everyone for attending. I'll leave the session open just in case you have any questions. Otherwise, look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks so much. Cool. So we have had one question come through just around that 30-day expiry period. So someone's asked about whether or not your clients will get a reminder close to the end of the 30-day period. So the answer to that right now is that they don't, but it is something that we are looking to introduce. So we're looking at making a number of changes to the entire SuiteFiles web app that you see up on the screen right now. And those changes will be rolling out in the next couple of months for the rest of the year. So we'll just be doing quite a few updates there. So stay tuned for that. And as part of that process, we'll be making some changes to things like notification preferences and expiry reminders. So we'll definitely let everyone know once we have more to share around that. And someone's asked if they choose to send it back via post or regular email, can we mark as complete in the list? So if no one has yet signed that document, so if we go into the document signing management area, okay, let's try that again. And if we check anything that's in progress but hasn't yet been signed by anyone, then we can click the three dots here and cancel the document. We cannot, if it's been in progress and at least one person has signed the document, you'll no longer have access to cancel the file. So that's how it works at the moment. I'm not sure if that's something that is possible in other systems, but we'll definitely check that out. I know that we're getting lots of feedback at the moment on some great ideas. So if that's not something that we're looking at doing already, I'll check our little wish list, and if it's not already on there, then I'll definitely add that on so that we can consider that for a feature in future. Brilliant. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll leave it there, but as I said, if you do have any other questions or you have any feedback, best place to reach out is our support email address, which is support@suitefiles.com. Thanks so much, everyone, for attending, and I really hope you enjoy the rest of your day.